So you're planning a trip to Cuyahoga Valley National Park, or maybe just wondering if it's worth all the hype. We've explored every corner of Cuyahoga, from biking the Towpath Trail to hiking the ledges and seeing the waterfalls. We'll cover where to stay and the hidden gems, and we're packing it all into this one ultimate guide.
Are you looking for the best tips when visiting Cuyahoga Valley National Park? Come with us on the popular trails in Cuyahoga as we're going to walk through some key questions that you need to answer for a successful visit. Let's get started. We'll discuss the most popular trail later, but what is the most beautiful part of Cuyahoga Valley National Park? The ledges in Cuyahoga is the most beautiful area in the park, but our tip for the ledges is to take the hike but spend time exploring the rock formations. Scramble in between the sandstone, and if you are lucky, you will discover an entrance to the ice cave and carvings from the early 1900s by an unknown sculptor. Here you will find a 2.2-mile loop trail through the forest that showcases rock ledges to explore and view. Most people come for the trail we are sharing here, but there are other features to the area that if you have time, you should explore. The Ledges Trail is north of the parking lot, but an amazing view awaits at the Ledges Overlook, a small walk to the south of the parking lot. You'll also find a picnic pavilion at the parking lot, but if you have time, seek more in this Virginia Kendall unit of the park. Later, we will discuss some tips that will make it easier for you to get around Cuyahoga Valley. But while we continue hiking in the ledges, you should ask this question: what gear should I take when visiting Cuyahoga Valley National Park? If you spend any time hiking and biking outdoors like we do, you quickly discover that having the right gear can make or break an adventure, even in this small park where you are so close to civilization and services. Our best tip for hiking that most people forget is to carry a first aid kit with you. We've had enough stumbles and scrapes and bumps that a Band-Aid or other minor first aid helps our brood continue hiking joyfully. But if you need more, you have it. Since you can't carry a decent first aid kit in your hand, we recommend a hydration day pack. These are great for longer hikes with their water bladder, but for hikes in Cuyahoga, you can probably carry water bottles. There's no need for a compass as phones work everywhere in the park, but you might want some maps for a bigger view of the park. We'll let you know where to get those later on. But for the ledges, you should wear good supportive closed-toed shoes, preferably hiking shoes with a good grip. If you have balance issues, trekking poles are a good add to keep your balance. If you are hiking in the warmer seasons, make sure you take sunscreen and mosquito spray, and also beware of ticks. But make sure you pack a flashlight in case you are on the trail at sunset. For examples of what we carry on our day hikes, make sure you read the video description now while you watch. We'll get back to the hikes and where to find waterfalls in a minute, but what else makes Cuyahoga Valley National Park worth visiting? We found a lot to do in and outside the park. Here we will list a few items that make the park more than a great hike. If hiking isn't your thing, our next tip would be to take a break and ride the railroad. The Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad travels north and south along the Towpath Trail and the Cuyahoga River. The rail cars provide a step back in time. You can board the train at one of the many boarding stations and can even take your bike on the train with you. Next on our list are the Cleveland Metroparks. In Cuyahoga and the Cleveland parks, you can find great spots to enjoy a relaxing picnic, read a book, play frisbee, or other sports. The region is filled with places for rest and relaxation. If you want something a little livelier, drive into Cleveland and check out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You'll also find the Cleveland Zoo, Lake Erie, and many other places for a downtown adventure. But if you want something in the middle, the surrounding neighborhoods are great for boutique shops, locally owned restaurants, and more. We will tell you all about Boston Mill inside Cuyahoga a bit later. But with discussing the surrounding area, you may be asking this question: where should I stay when visiting Cuyahoga Valley National Park? Streetsboro KOA is a great place to stay while visiting Cuyahoga Valley National Park and the surrounding region. This campground offers various amenities such as cabins, full hookup RV sites, tent sites, a pool, and a fishing pond. It's conveniently located just a short drive east of the park, making it an ideal space if you don't want to stay in a hotel. The campground is dog-friendly, has an arcade with a pool table and ping pong, and a campground store with food, ice cream, laundromat, and the normal campground essentials like RV supplies and s'mores. Staying at Streetsboro KOA allows you to enjoy a comfortable and relaxed outdoor environment with easy access to the park's attractions and trails. Speaking of trails, what is the most popular trail in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? Cuyahoga Valley National Park is connected to a network of parks and trails in the Cleveland Metroparks system, but the Ohio and Erie Canal Towpath Trail is perfect for biking and runs through the park. Offering scenic views of the Cuyahoga River and surrounding landscapes, the trail actually extends south out of the park and north to Lake Erie. So from the Towpath Trail, you can easily connect to the other trails in the Cleveland Metroparks. allowing for extended bike rides through various terrains and environments. If you bike the trail like we did, make sure you carry a bike pump, multi-tool, tire levers, and a spare tube to repair anything during your ride. The tip here would be to make sure you ride through the Beaver Marsh, past some of the locks, and through Boston Mill. But if the Towpath Trail inside the park isn't enough biking, our next tip would be to head over to the adjacent Bedford Reservation, where you will find great biking to a popular destination which we will get to later. But even if you don't ride, many people hike the trail, and the trail is stroller and handicap accessible. Another advantage of the Towpath Trail is the number of parking lots along the trail. Take a road trip and check out the spots that interest you by car. Every good national park video needs a dad joke. Why don't trees ever play hide and seek? Because they're afraid of getting stumped. Feel free to share that one tonight. Okay, back to the list. And where can I go for information while in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? The Boston Mill Visitor Center is a must-visit spot in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. It's conveniently located in the middle of the park on the Towpath Trail. Here you can learn about the park's history, pick up maps, and get the latest information on trail conditions and events. But you can also use the restroom and fill up your water bottle. The center provides insightful exhibits about the park's cultural and natural history, making it a great starting point for your visit. Knowledgeable staff are available to answer questions and help you plan your day. If you need to find more gifts or locally made fare, walk over to the Boston Mill store for more variety. Boston Mill has many historically preserved buildings on the Cuyahoga River, multiple parking lots, a boarding stop for the railroad, and a great view of the Ohio Turnpike Bridge that passes through the park. Let's move on from the Towpath Trail and ask, what waterfalls are in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? The most popular waterfall in Cuyahoga is Brandywine Falls. The trail to Brandywine Falls, as you can see here, includes a well-maintained boardwalk and several viewing platforms offering safe and accessible vantage points for observing the falls and taking photos. The main viewing area offers a close-up view of the waterfall, allowing visitors to appreciate its full beauty and power. Brandywine Falls is one of the most iconic and picturesque landmarks in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. This stunning 65-foot waterfall is formed by Brandywine Creek and is surrounded by lush forests and rocky gorges. The waterfall is accessible via a short, scenic hike, making it a popular destination for visitors of all ages and abilities. But our tip here is that there are a couple of other things to take advantage of from this parking lot. There is a longer 1.5-mile Brandywine Gorge Loop trail, but the Metroparks biking and hiking trail passes by for a great paved trail experience too. We hike the top of the falls on the trail bridge and then through this tunnel on our way back to the parking lot. But if you want to spend the night in a piece of history, check out the inn at Brandywine Falls. Built in the late 1840s, this inn is on the National Register of Historic Homes, and its decorated interior is set up to take you back in time. But if you want to make this trip a waterfall tour, head over to Bedford Reservation as we discussed earlier and add Bridalveil Falls. Located adjacent to Cuyahoga Valley National Park, you can easily view more waterfalls. Here you can see the tranquil Bridalveil Falls in the woods that spreads wide and long for you to enjoy. As we continue, I'm sure you have asked, what is so special about Cuyahoga Valley National Park? Cuyahoga Valley National Park is rich in history. As you explore the area, you can see the industry of the Ohio and Erie Canal and learn about a time before semis, trains, and planes transported goods throughout the country. Much of the canal system remains, but nature is slowly reclaiming the land, and today the national park is a refuge for birds, animals, reptiles, and humans who want to escape the city. Here you can find recreation on trails for hiking, biking, bridle, and jogging. There are many buildings and bridges that showcase the history of the region too, that were vital to the movement west from the East Coast. Ohio provided the means to move west while providing critical resources back to the original colonies. Take your time in this park and reflect on its rich history and significance to the development of the United States. Come hike with us as we show you the easiest way to see Brandywine Falls in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. As the most impressive waterfall in the park, this is a top 5 destination for visitors. Let's get started. The first thing many people ask is, why is Brandywine Falls so special? Or maybe the question is, what are some fun facts about Brandywine Falls? When you visit Brandywine Falls in Cuyahoga Valley National Park, you are witnessing history. The falls have seen the community begin, develop, and grow over centuries. Rock made of Bedford shale and Berea sandstone. The sandstone erodes over time, but the shale holds strong and sets the cascading water to drop over 65 feet as it continues to flow down Bedford Creek and into the Cuyahoga River and Lake Erie to the north. At 65 feet, This is the tallest waterfall in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. But did you know in the early 1800s, a man by the name of George Wallace harnessed the waterfall's power by building a sawmill? This endeavor expanded into a grist mill and mill for making wool. But the creation of the Ohio and Erie Canal saw businesses grow on the canal just a mile away while Wallace watched from a distance and his business suffered. Later in the 1920s, the location was used by the Champion Electric Company making appliances. But if you want to see more living history, the inn at Brandywine Falls is actually the home of James Wallace, who was the son of the sawmill operator. We'll tell you more about the inn later, but how is the parking at Brandywine Falls? Parking at Brandywine Falls is a dance of anticipation and excitement, where each spot is coveted treasure waiting to be claimed. But there are about 100 parking spots at the Falls trailhead. As we will discuss later, the hike is short, so people are coming and going frequently throughout the day. But plan on seeing the falls at off-peak hours or plan to wait for parking or walking further from the trailhead. But don't park on the road. If you do, you may be ticketed and possibly towed. Here at the parking lot is a full bathroom facility, including a water fountain. Now that we know about the parking at Brandywine Falls, how far of a walk is Brandywine Falls from the parking lot? Brandywine Falls in Cuyahoga Valley National Park is very accessible to most visitors. As you arrive at the parking lot and conveniently located near the bathroom facility, you'll see the trailhead awaits your exploration. Here, you're presented with two simple options. Veer left for a leisurely stroll along the Brandywine Falls Gorge Trail, or opt for the quicker route by heading right, leading you directly to the falls. In just a short distance of about 0.2 of a mile, the falls reveal themselves, offering a serene and picturesque view. We'll discuss what you need for this hike later, but how long does it take to hike Brandywine Falls? Brandywine Falls actually has two trails you can hike from the parking lot. The Brandywine Falls Gorge Trail is the longer hike here in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. The Gorge Trail is a 1.5-mile loop that takes about 1 to 2 hours to complete. But if you are in a hurry or just want a short walk to see the waterfalls, head right and you can hike a paved trail and wooden boardwalk and see the falls in about 20 minutes total time and see the highlight of the area. Can you see Brandywine Falls without hiking? From the moment you step foot in the parking lot of Cuyahoga Valley National Park, Brandywine Falls remains tantalizingly out of sight, shrouded in a veil of mystery and anticipation. But a mere stroll unveils the hidden gem that lies just beyond. Although the trail leading to the falls is not accessible to those with wheelchairs due to the steps on the boardwalk, it is still worth the effort for others. These viewpoints offer the best views for capturing the falls' magnificence and experiencing its powerful presence up close. But with all these steps, people ask, is Brandywine Falls kid-friendly? The trail is very kid-friendly. Many kids see Brandywine Falls in the short hike. Light strollers can be taken on the short walk and carried up and down stairs, but the trail is so short that you can carry your child to see the waterfalls. Guardrails provide some protection and safety, and the trail is wide enough to keep even the most anxious parents satisfied with this trail. But some people have furry kids, so are dogs allowed at Brandywine Falls? Pets are welcome in Cuyahoga Valley National Park, and Brandywine Falls is no exception. But you need to consider the age of your pet and its ability to climb stairs. There are many wood steps on the trail, and small pets or older pets may find them hard to navigate. There are some rules to the park for pets as well. Make sure your animal is domesticated and on a leash. Bring pet waste bags and prepare to use them. Leave no trace rules apply to animals as well. There is no access to water on the short trail, so make sure to bring a water bowl for your pets and give them time to stay hydrated. The Gorge Trail is also a good hike for dogs that can manage it. If your pet can handle a 2-mile walk, they should have no problem with the Gorge Trail. So, what do you need to hike Brandywine Falls in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? If you are just hiking to the falls, make sure you have comfortable shoes that provide good support. But it is such a short walk, many hike it in sandals. But if you are considering the Gorge Trail, make sure you take water with you. Even though this hike is less than 2 miles, we recommend a hiking day pack to take essentials. Along with water, make sure you carry a first aid kit. But you might also want snacks in case anyone gets hungry, or you want to relax and spend time on the creek. But if you have stability or balance issues, consider taking trekking poles with you to navigate the trail. If you want to learn more, read the video description for examples of what we use with us on our day hikes. Every hiking video needs a dad joke. What's a hiker's favorite type of ice cream? Rocky Road. Okay, let's keep learning about Brandywine Falls and ask, can you go to the bottom of Brandywine Falls? The Gorge Trail at Brandywine Falls in Cuyahoga Valley National Park is set up more for a hike through the woods. The trail does guide you down to Brandywine Creek, and you can cross the creek using the bridge, but from that view you can't see the waterfalls. The only way to see Brandywine Falls is from the top of the falls on the shorter trail by the parking lot. But you can see the top of the falls and cross the creek on the Metroparks bike and hiking trail bridge for another unique view of the water. So, what else can you do at the Brandywine Falls trailhead? At Brandywine Falls, there is a picnic area where you can sit and enjoy some time outdoors. But did you know that you can spend the night there too? The Inn at Brandywine Falls is currently taking reservations and has 6 rooms inside the Greek Revival architecture. But you can also bike, jog, walk, and run the Metroparks bike trail. The trail is connected to the Brandywine Falls parking lot and connects Brandywine Falls with Bridal Veil Falls and runs along the east side of Cuyahoga Valley National Park.
Come hike and bike with us on some of our favorite trails as we discover how to spend 1 to 3 days in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. We have mapped out an exact itinerary for your family that takes you from the historic Towpath Trail to the breathtaking ledges, ensuring your brood stays energized and your schedule stays stress-free. By the end of this video, you will have a clear step-by-step plan. Let's get started. We like to share our national parks in a question-and-answer format, so while we bike the Towpath Trail, let's answer. Why did the Cuyahoga River catch fire, and why does it matter for your visit? The Cuyahoga River famously caught fire on June 22, 1969, due to massive industrial pollution, a disaster that reached 5 stories high, ultimately serving as a massive catalyst for the creation of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Today, the river is a symbol of environmental restoration and a major focal point of the national park itself. When you are cycling or walking along the river, you are witnessing one of the most successful ecological recovery stories in America. Understanding this history adds a profound layer to your trip, transforming it from a simple vacation into an educational journey. While you're exploring, envision a polluted wasteland to truly experience the natural beauty. But, can you do Cuyahoga Valley National Park in one day? Cuyahoga Valley is an urban national park near Cleveland, Ohio. With 1 day in the park, you really need to be selective and consider what you want. If you have a full day, break your time into morning and afternoon with lunch in between activities. The park can get busy in the afternoon, so plan on hiking in the morning, either the Ledges Trail or take a leisurely walk to Brandywine Falls. Both have scenic views worth your time, with the Ledges Trail being more strenuous and unique. But Brandywine Falls is an easy walk on a wooden boardwalk to waterfalls that will save your strength. The purpose of going in the morning is so that you have a chance to get a parking spot and a more quiet experience. After lunch, hop on your bikes and take a ride on the Towpath Trail. Here you will see locks that lifted and lowered boats along the canal, as well as villages, hotels, and nature that is reclaiming the landscape. So before we get to our 2-day itinerary, how do I tackle the Towpath Trail without overwhelming me and my family? The Towpath Trail spans 20 miles within the park, but you should not feel pressured to ride it all at once. The terrain is level and composed of crushed limestone, making it incredibly accessible for all skill levels. This was the trail mule and horse teams used to tow the barges through the canal and is well maintained. To prevent fatigue, pick a central trailhead like the Boston Mill Visitor Center and ride a 5-mile out and back section. This distance provides plenty of history and river views without pushing younger riders past their limit. When you're done, make sure to treat your brood with some ice cream at the Boston Mill store. But if you want to avoid the uphill return issue entirely, utilize the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad's Bike Abroad program to catch a ride back to your starting point. But always ensure you have a reliable multi-tool in your saddlebag and spare tubes to handle any quick bike adjustments on the fly, which we have listed in our essential gear kit in the video description. Every good national park video needs a dad joke. Why do rivers make such terrible storytellers? They just babble on and on. Join the conversation in the comments with your favorite dad joke, or tell us what you're looking forward to in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. Okay, we'll discuss the trails in more details later, but while we hike the Ledges Trail, is 2 days best for Cuyahoga Valley National Park? With 2 days in the park, you can relax a little more or pick up some other adventures. Again, take the mornings to do your hikes. On day 1, hit the Ledges Trail if you are rested and enjoy time in exploring the rock formations. Plan on spending 2 hours or more hiking if you like to explore, and stop to take photographs. On day 2, check out Brandywine Falls. But this trail is much shorter and easier to walk, which is why we saved it until day 2, as you might be a little sore from the ledges and biking day 1. The goal would be to stretch your legs and get ready for the afternoon. Now, with 2 afternoons, you can bike the Towpath Trail both days. On day 1, bike from the Boston Mill Visitor Center north and return for ice cream. On day 2, head south to the Hunt House, where you will find parking, bathrooms, and a picnic area. But continue south to explore the Beaver Marsh and other waypoints your family will enjoy. Bonus tip, if you like to watch birds, make sure you take binoculars for the beaver marsh and to view the interstate bridges from below near Boston Mill. Now that we have discussed our 2-day itinerary, you may be wondering, what is the secret to hiking the Ledges Trail and Brandywine Falls without the crowds? The Ledges Trail is a 2-mile loop with roughly 237 feet of elevation gain that offers some of the most impressive rock formations in the park. While Brandywine Falls features a dramatic 65-foot drop, the secret to avoiding the massive midday crowds at these sites is purely tactical timing. Aim to hit the Ledges and Brandywine Trailhead by 8 a.m. before the main parking area fills up. But if you're not an early riser, late afternoon may be best for your brood. For Brandywine Falls, take the Gorge Loop clockwise, which drops you into the quiet forest before reaching the boardwalk overlooking the falls. Because these trails can be slick, you might want trekking poles and hiking shoes. But more importantly, make sure you take a hiking day pack with water and a first aid kit. Examples of what we hiked with in Cuyahoga Valley is in our video description. Check it out right now while you watch. These hikes are just rural enough that band-aids and other first aid items are good insurance, and you always want to stay hydrated while adventuring outdoors. Before we get to our 3-day recommendation, subscribe today so that when you search for a national park we've been to, our videos come up at the top of your search results. We've hiked with our brood across most of the national parks and made enough mistakes along the way so that you don't have to. To continue, we'll discuss the perfect campground for Cuyahoga Valley a little later, but let's answer this next question while taking in views of Brandywine Falls. What is the best way for 3 days in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? To maximize your experience, you need to break the park into distinct zones based on geography and activity level. On day 1, focus on the northern section, dedicating your morning to the iconic Towpath Trail. Day 2 should be reserved for the dramatic geology of the Central Park, specifically the Ledges Trail and Brandywine Falls. Finally, day 3 allows you to venture just outside the park boundaries to the Bedford Reservation, which offers a masterclass in forest riding and scenic overlooks. By batching these activities, you minimize driving time and maximize time on the trail. But with 3 days, you still have time for rest and relaxation. We had a picnic lunch at Bedford Reservation and found some nice restaurants for dinner. With 3 days, you won't feel rushed or pressured into seeing everything. Where should a family stay to maintain proximity and comfort? You want a base camp that bridges the gap between rugged outdoor access and essential family amenities like full hookups and reliable Wi-Fi. The Streetsboro Cleveland KOA Holiday is situated just minutes from the eastern edge of the park, placing you within a 20-minute drive of major trailheads. This site is specifically designed for family logistics, offering plenty of space for RVs, tent setups, and cottages, while maintaining a quiet, wooded atmosphere that helps everyone recharge. Here you will find clean bathrooms, a game room, camp store, playgrounds, and a pool. But you may be wondering, is the Bedford Reservation worth the detour from the national park? While technically outside the national park boundaries, the Bedford Reservation is a vital component of a well-rounded itinerary, offering 7.6 miles of all-purpose paved trails and over 11 miles of dedicated mountain biking trails. It provides a more rugged, forested experience compared to the open expanses of the towpath. If you are riding the all-purpose trail, you will encounter significant forest canopy and access to the stunning Tinkers Creek Gorge overlook and Bridal Veil Falls. While the Towpath Trail is flat, the bike trails in the Bedford Reservation is hilly with varied terrain. But if you want something different, the Bedford Reservation hosts a golf course and ball fields too.
Come with us as we take you on a tour of the Towpath Trail in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. You'll find here that you can't help but wonder about the past and how the canal was built, what freight moved along the canal, and how the Towpath Trail has evolved over the years to become the recreation destination for millions every year. Let's get started. Today we are biking the Towpath Trail, but many walk and jog the trail too. We'll share with you our favorite parts of the trail later, but because the original use has been long abandoned for other methods, many people ask, what is the Towpath Trail in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? A towpath is a trail for horses and mules on the bank of the river or canal. It is an improved trail used by horses and mules to tow boats in the water adjacent to the trail. On the Ohio-Erie Canal, these boats hauled passengers, grain, iron ore, coal, and other goods up and down the canal. The boats required the tow to navigate the waters as many boats were not yet powered by steam engines. The animals were tied to boats with long lines and walked the trail to pull the boats through the water of the Ohio and Erie Canal. Similar systems were used throughout Europe, Britain, and even in Japan and China. But in the United States, it was used many times too. Other examples include the Illinois to Michigan Canal that connected Lake Michigan in Chicago to the Mississippi River and the Gulf of Mexico, and the Erie Canal that connects Lake Erie to the Hudson River and New York City. This network opened up the Great Lakes in the west for settlement and growth. But specifically, you might be wondering, what is the history of the Towpath Trail? The Towpath Trail was built adjacent to the Ohio and Erie Canal. Ohio was rich in farmland and natural resources, but it was difficult to transport goods to and from the area. But on a bigger scale, it was very difficult to move goods over the Appalachian Mountains back to the more population-dense East Coast. With the Great Lakes to the north and the Ohio River south, the canal was built in the 1820s to connect the two. To set the timeline, the Civil War didn't begin until 1861, almost 40 years later, and the Declaration of Independence was signed only about 45 years earlier. Men dug the canal by hand and connected the two waterways successfully by the 1830s. The canal system was used well until the 1860s, and as railroads were built and the canal system deteriorated, it was used less. In 1913, a great flood destroyed the canal beyond repair. Over time, the community chose to preserve the history of the canal, and parks were established to protect the region. Cuyahoga Valley National Park was designated on October 11, 2000 by President George W. Bush, and the canal runs in the middle of the park, extending north to south. Coming up later, we'll let you know who can use the trail, but now that you know a little about the trail, what can you expect to see on the Towpath Trail? You can see as we ride the locks next to the trail that were needed to lift and lower the boats from the middle of Ohio down to Lake Erie. At each lock in Cuyahoga Valley National Park, you can read about different commercial enterprises that supported the canal. The locks took time to raise and lower the boats, so people were waiting long enough to spend some money. Hotels were located at some of the locks, stores and bars were located at others, support services for the boats and the animals were next to others. The canal created commerce and created an economy for the region. Today you can see nature reclaiming the land. The canals and waterways are being overrun with trees and native plants. The wetlands are healthy and thriving, offering visitors great opportunities for wildlife viewing. You will see animals, reptiles, amphibians, and birds. The National Park Service cares for these systems to provide recreation and biodiversity for generations to come. We'll come back to that later, but every good trail video needs a dad joke. Why do turtles cross the trail? To get to the Shell station. Now, as we ride, you may wonder, how long is the Cuyahoga Valley Towpath Trail? Inside the park, the trail is 20 miles long, but the trail currently extends about 100 miles from Lake Erie and Cleveland through Cuyahoga Valley National Park to New Philadelphia, Ohio. Inside the park, there are many trailheads where you can park your car and enjoy parts of the trail. We enjoyed riding near the Boston Mill Visitor Center and the Beaver Marsh. We'll talk more about those later, but you can put miles down on this trail. With the trail being flat and well paved, visitors can enjoy longer trips than on normal trails. There are limited road intersections, so you can enjoy the semi-wilderness conditions as you travel along the trail. But another advantage is that you can travel at your own pace and move to different parts of the trail with the multiple trailheads and parking lots available throughout the park. What can you see at the Boston Mill Visitor Center in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? The Boston Mill Visitor Center opened in 2019 and is a great place to learn more about the park. Here you will find a small gift shop and museum too. If you are looking for the Cuyahoga Valley National Park sign, it is located next to the railroad tracks. There is a train station at the Visitor Center for the scenic railroad, but sometimes the location isn't serviced. Here you can also find restrooms and bottle fill water stations for your use. East of the Visitor Center on the Towpath Trail, the Boston store has more to offer, including locally produced items, drinks, ice cream, gifts, t-shirts, and other swag. There are 3 parking lots that service the area off Boston Mills Road. Here you can also use the Towpath Trail to go under I-271 and Ohio Turnpike I-80. These bridges over the Cuyahoga River are massive and an engineering marvel you need to witness from below. Where can you find the best natural area on the Towpath Trail? We found the Beaver Marsh about 6 miles south of Boston Mill. You can drive by it on Riverview Road, but to get in the middle, you must take the Towpath Trail. The Hunt House Trailhead with a parking lot and bathrooms is about a mile north of the Beaver Marsh. The Ira Trailhead with parking and restrooms is only 0.3 miles south of the Beaver Marsh, which makes this natural wetland more accessible. Here at the marsh, you get to travel on a wooden boardwalk over the water. The wetland is home to turtles, fish, birds, water snakes, beaver, and even otters. Designated as important by the National Audubon Society, the marsh is a safe haven for migrating birds on their trips north and south. Many birds see their way to the marsh, including ducks, woodpeckers, bald eagle, osprey, blue herons, and egrets, and many songbirds and other species. During your travel, find a quiet spot on the boardwalk and just listen and look. The marsh will come alive after a few minutes. You'll notice all the activity there is to discover. Now that you've learned of a couple places to visit along the towpath, who can use the Towpath Trail in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? The Towpath Trail in Cuyahoga Valley National Park is packed sand and aggregate, suitable for running, walking, jogging, and hiking. Bicycles are welcome on the trail too. Even Class 1 and 2 e-bikes are permissible. But due to all the variety of traffic, be careful. Even though the speed limit is 15 miles per hour, gravel cyclists and kids will go faster. During peak season, the popular sections will be packed, but even strollers and wheelchairs can use the Towpath Trail. The Towpath Trail was designed and is maintained to be ADA accessible, but you will find potholes, fallen branches, and other obstacles over the 20 miles, so recognize that even though the trail is maintained, unexpected obstacles can exist. But what gear should you take with you when biking and hiking the Towpath Trail? You will want to put miles down in this trail. Make sure you wear good shoes. Whether you are hiking or biking, bring water. We always carry a backpack for our trips to include water, a first aid kit, maps, and snacks. In this urban national park, your phones will work well all the time, so there's no need for a compass, as you can use your favorite map app and compass app. Dress for the weather and consider sunglasses and sunscreen. Pack bug spray for the forest and wetlands, as mosquitoes will find you. If you are biking, make sure you have a good multi-tool, spare tubes, tire levers, and a helmet. We'll put examples of what we typically carry in the video description. Are dogs allowed on the Towpath Trail in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? Domesticated pets, including dogs, are allowed almost everywhere in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. But the Towpath Trail is one of the best places to take dogs. The trail footing is great for dogs, and the wide trail provides additional safety to keep pets separated. If you are on the Towpath Trail, make sure your pet is at heel to prevent accidents with cyclists going too fast. When possible, keep your pet to the outside of the trail. Follow leave no trace principles and carry pet waste bags. Garbage cans are available throughout the park so that you can dispose of pet waste before getting back in your car. Keep your dog on a 6-foot leash to prevent them from approaching other visitors and so they don't run away after birds or animals. But the mountain bike trails and national park buildings are a couple of places where dogs are prohibited. So, what is the most popular trail in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? The Towpath Trail is arguably the most popular trail in Cuyahoga Valley National Park due to its accessibility and historical significance. It attracts hikers, cyclists, joggers, and nature enthusiasts year-round, offering opportunities for recreation, education, and exploration. But there are other trails in Cuyahoga Valley you have to explore. In the northeast corner of the park, you will find the Ledges. This short trail is a moderate trail that showcases sandstone ledges through forest that is a must-see. If you are looking for waterfalls in Cuyahoga Valley National Park, the most popular falls in the park is the 60-foot-tall Brandywine Falls, which can be seen with a longer trail or via a quick boardwalk hike to a few viewpoints and the remnants of an old factory.
If you want to protect your family vacation from becoming an expensive disappointment, you need to understand the 6 reasons people hate Cuyahoga Valley National Park. Let's get started. Why do travelers call Cuyahoga Valley National Park a glorified metro park? When your family packs up the vehicle for a national park road trip, you are likely picturing the beautiful overlooks of Shenandoah or the vast wilderness of the Smoky Mountains. But forcing your brood to spend hard-earned vacation days traveling to Cleveland and a park that is surrounded by residential suburbs and golf courses can lead to immediate outdoor regret. When we tested this destination against our regional options, we realized why so many local hikers openly complain that a much better, far more dramatic wilderness experience with deep gorges and towering cliffs is actually found at Hocking Hill State Park just a few hours south. The structural disappointment deepens when you examine the actual terrain available for your daily family hiking itinerary. Instead of technical mountain trails that challenge your physical endurance, a massive portion of this park's trail system consists of a completely flat, wide path made of crushed limestone. While this is perfect for casual strollers or basic bicycle rides, it lacks the rugged adventure that older kids and active parents crave. If you're looking to escape the city, you're going to hate Cuyahoga Valley unless you change your expectations. To lower the bar a little more, you should ask the next question. How bad is the highway noise at Brandywine Falls in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? Stepping into nature should mean replacing the chaotic sounds of modern civilization with the peaceful rustle of leaves and the gentle movement of water. Unfortunately, because this park is wedged directly between the massive metropolitan areas of Cleveland and Akron, true acoustic isolation is practically impossible for your family to find. When we visited the park's premier scenic overlooks, the peaceful ambient sounds of the forest were completely drowned out by the thunderous roar of commercial semi-trucks flying down Interstate 271 or motorcycles blaring Steppenwolf over their exhaust on Brandywine Road. This severe infrastructure intrusion is not just an auditory issue, it completely disrupts the visual aesthetic of the park's most famous geological feature. As your family walks down the beautifully constructed wooden boardwalk expecting a pristine, natural canyon view, you are forced to stare at the bike trail and Brandywine Road Bridge towering directly over the water. This jarring combination of nature and heavy industrial steel can instantly shatter the illusion of a wilderness escape for your brood. We researched a little further and found Bridalveil Fall in the Bedford Reservation. Steps down to the falls and a bridge help you discover and enjoy this relatively remote location. The water flows shallow and gives you and your brood another option to Brandywine Falls. But if you want a memorable hike and can overlook the distractions caused by suburban sprawl, you may want to ask this question. Is the Ledges Trail in Cuyahoga Valley National Park too crowded for a peaceful family hike? An ideal family outdoor excursion involves space to explore quiet trails and the ability to connect with nature without bumping into hundreds of strangers. Because this park sits within a short 30-minute drive for millions of urban residents, the reality on any pleasant weekend is complete gridlock and packed boardwalks. Trying to navigate narrow pathways with your brood while dealing with massive tourist groups completely ruins the tranquility of the environment. The sheer volume of human congestion is staggering because this relatively small valley plays host to an overwhelming 3 million annual visitors. Let's put this into perspective. Cuyahoga Valley National Park is 33,000 acres. Yellowstone National Park is 2.2 million acres and sees less than 5 million visitors. Cuyahoga sees 60% of the visitors of Yellowstone, but is only 2% the size of Yellowstone. This intense crowding creates immediate logistical obstacles, particularly when it comes to securing a simple parking space at the major trailheads, and there is no way to turn it off. Due to the roads traversing the park, there is no gate or entrance fee. If your family itinerary places you at the popular parking lots after 10 o'clock in the morning, you will likely face endless loops of traffic and severe parking enforcement fines. When you are forced to park miles away at an alternate staging area, a simple afternoon walk quickly morphs into a grueling multi-mile endurance test for your kids. Our best recommendation to tour this park during the week and arrive early or stay late. Can your family swim or cool off in the Cuyahoga River? When the summer heat peaks and humidity levels rise across Ohio, your family will naturally look for a freshwater stream or a cascading waterfall to cool down. However, the tragic environment history of this specific waterway completely restricts your brood from participating in any traditional water recreation. Decades of heavy industrial pollution, combined with ongoing agricultural runoff and urban sewage overflows, means that entering the water poses significant health risks. Because of these persistent risks of E. coli and sewage runoff, the park recommends against wading or swimming anywhere near the Cuyahoga River or Brandywine Falls. The lack of water access becomes even more frustrating when your family explores the stagnant wetland of the valley floor. While places like the Beaver Marsh offer excellent wildlife viewing, the stagnant water also serves as prime breeding grounds for massive clouds of biting insects during the warmer months. Trying to enjoy a scenic walk while your kids are constantly swarmed and bitten can quickly ruin an entire afternoon. To counter the lack of water fun, we stayed at Streetsboro KOA to enjoy swimming in their pool and fishing their 3 ponds. Additionally, if you're bringing binoculars to look at birds, maybe they're better used at the Boston Mill Visitor Center to look at the interstate from underneath. Every good national park video needs a dad joke. Which days are the strongest? Saturday and Sunday. The rest are weekdays. But weekdays are still the best days to visit this park. Okay, back to the list. And maybe you're thinking about visiting the park during the off months. How do you avoid the severe seasonal mud on the trails of Cuyahoga Valley National Park? If you attempt to avoid the massive summer crowds by visiting during the late winter or early spring, you will face an entirely different environmental obstacle. The melting snow combined with frequent seasonal downpours transforms the unpaved dirt trails into slick, treacherous mires. Watching your kids slip, slide, and ruin their regular sneakers in the mud puddles can turn a fun family adventure into a stressful, messy ordeal. You don't avoid it, you just adapt to it. You could stick to paved trails or the Towpath Trail, but off-pavement navigating the unstable trail surfaces requires a tactical shift in your family's footwear choice to prevent painful twisted ankles or muddy falls. An urban environment would suggest standard tennis shoes, but they will instantly saturate with freezing water, leading to blistered feet and miserable kids halfway through your itinerary. To ensure your brood hikes safely, choose good hiking shoes and trekking poles. Examples of what we hiked with during our time in Cuyahoga Valley are in the video description. Read now while you watch. What is the best way to see Cuyahoga Valley National Park through the dense summer trees? Many travel brochures heavily market a specific panoramic vantage point as the absolute best place in Northeast Ohio to watch a dramatic sunset over the expansive valley. However, families who visit during the peak summer months near the Ledges Trail are often met with a frustrating wall of solid green foliage that completely blocks the horizon, if you can even find the overlook. Instead of an open view of the valley below, your brood is left staring directly into a thick forest canopy that entirely obscures the geological grandeur of the region and the setting sun. You're likely to find a better scenic overlook in the Bedford Reservation. We spent a day biking the Cleveland Metropark and came upon the Bedford Scenic Overlook. Here, you are above the forest and can see a beautiful landscape beneath you.
Come hike with us and discover the Ledges Trail inside Cuyahoga Valley National Park. As one of the top 3 hikes in Cuyahoga Valley, knowing all about this experience will give you the edge for a great adventure. We can't wait to hike this trail with you today, so let's get started. When you first enter Cuyahoga Valley, you need to understand how to navigate the park. So, where is the Ledges Trailhead located? Cuyahoga Valley National Park is located in suburban Cleveland, Ohio, just south of Lake Erie and north of Akron. The park is long, stretching north and south, but wider at the southern end. The Ledges is south of the Boston Mill Visitor Center, on the east side of the park off of Kendall Park Road. You will find it near the bottom of the park on the east side. To guide you in, use 701 Truxell Road, Peninsula, Ohio, 44264 in your map app. This is the address of the Ledges Shelter that was built by the Civilian Conservation Corps in the 1930s. It is a good landmark for the parking lot and trailhead. But the shelter is also good for picnic lunches, restrooms, and water. As we walk, you may be wondering, what is the history of the Ledges? As most of the area in the Great Lakes, these ledges were created and affected by the glaciers as they receded from the area. Over time, the freeze-thaw of the region, through seasons and gravity, have caused the weathering cracks, gaps, and erosion visible during your hike. More recently, the land was owned by a farmer named William Ritchie, but the over 400 acres was purchased by a coal magnate who used it for recreation. But before he died, he made sure the land was donated and used forever as a park. His wish came true first by the state of Ohio in 1929, and then by the city of Akron in 1933. In 1974, the National Park Service took over, and the land officially became part of Cuyahoga Valley National Park. The area is still named after his wife and is known as the Virginia Kendall Unit. Coming up later, we will share whether we think hiking this trail is worth it, but what is the geology of the Ledges? On the trail, you will see a variety of terrain. Most of the hike is through forest, but rock ledges of Sharon conglomerate make it clear what this trail is known for. The ledges are large masses of sandstone rock that appear next to and beneath the trail. Walking next to the ledges, they rise up to 30 feet tall. You can actually walk through these stone features too. You can get lost in the maze of rock as you witness the different textures and shapes that have been in creation for millions of years. You may wonder whether this is a difficult hike, but first, how long does it take to hike the Ledges Trail in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? The Ledges Trail is a 1.8-mile loop, but you can get lost in the ledges. What I mean is, there are multiple paths through the ledges, and you can take extra time to explore and plan on a little more than an hour to hike the trail. If you want to spend more time exploring the area, extend your commitment to 2 hours. We'll continue on in a minute, but first, every good hiking video needs a dad joke. Why can't Microsoft lovers enjoy hiking? Because they are always on edge. Okay, back to the ledges, and what is the hardest hike in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? The Ledges hike in Cuyahoga is generally considered the hardest hike in the park, but it's short. In the hike, you will find uneven stone steps. There are also a lot of rocks and roots on the trails, making the footing more difficult than many of the paved trails in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. Here, you might consider trekking poles and good hiking shoes. We will put links in the video description of what we hike with to give you examples. We talk about what else to pack for this hike later, but how difficult is the Ledges Trail? The Ledges Trail is a popular hike destination within Cuyahoga Valley National Park, offering a moderately challenging loop through diverse terrain. It winds through dense forest and showcases stunning cliffs that have been carved by natural forces over thousands of years. The trail is well marked, with trail signs and occasional stone steps to aid hikers in navigating steeper sections. But while it's rated as moderate in difficulty, some parts may be more challenging, especially for novice hikers or those with mobility issues. If you want an easier route, stay on the marked trail and hike in dry weather. This trail is not wheelchair accessible like Brandywine Falls or the Towpath Trail. What should you take with you when hiking the Ledges Trail? We found this hike to be an easier one for us, but you should still carry the essentials. Make sure you have a good day pack and carry water on every hike. The next item we will never be without is a first aid kit. With the varied terrain, an ice pack and bandages will come in handy if someone stumbles and falls. Good hiking shoes are helpful to keep your traction on the roots, rocks, and steps. If the ground is wet, this is more important. The trail can get a little confusing, so bring a map and compass to help guide you along the way. If you are hiking in the evening, make sure you pack a flashlight. If you get delayed, the flashlight will be a lifesaver when the sun goes down. Food is not required for this small hike, but you never know when you might get hungry, and having something packed is better than hearing your stomach growl for the remainder of the hike. Again, we'll share examples of what we carry in the description if you want some ideas. Are dogs allowed on the Ledges Trail? Cuyahoga Valley National Park welcomes dogs on the trails. The Ledges Trail is dog-friendly. Pets are allowed under control of their owner on a 6-foot leash. But with some tight areas on the trail, it is best to only take dogs that won't bark or try to walk up to other hikers or pets. Consider the trail conditions as well. The terrain has difficult areas with steps, rocks, and roots. Not all dogs will be able to make it through the ledges. Respect the terrain and consider the age and ability of your dog when choosing to take them on any trail. But most important is to follow leave no trace principles. Carry pet waste bags and use them if your canine needs them. Dispose of the waste in trash cans back at the parking lot. What can you see on the Ledges Trail in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? The Ledges Trail is full of forest views for all to enjoy. The topography changes throughout the trail, providing varying views of the forest and sandstone cliffs. In the forest, you will choose to see things up close, but then notice you are gazing through the forest at what is next or to be on the lookout for deer, squirrel, other animals, and birds. The forest is open to enjoy the depth of the scenery. You will even see tall, decades-old trees growing out of the side of the ledges suspended in the air above you. As you descend down into the trail, the steps are worth reviewing. Some say they were built by the CCC, but some of the steps have been proven in existence before the 1930s. The fallen trees on the forest floor provide more to examine and wonder. But what are the ledges in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? Forest hikes are great, but the centerpiece of this trail are the sandstone ledges. These rock features are plentiful on the trail and made specifically of sharing conglomerate. Be on the lookout for unique rock formations, crevices, varied textures, and views from above and below. The ledges have been formed over millions of years, and some of the rock has fallen and settled in disarray, now covered in moss along the trail after years frozen in time. Watch your steps so you don't stumble on smaller stones within your path. In the ledges, you may find bats. Please leave no trace and stay on trails, as the bats have been battling disease and are fragile. The forest casts shadows on sunny days, and the colors and textures of the sandstone come to life through the trees. Watch your step as you view from above, as the cliff is random and losing your footing could mean injury or death. Is hiking the ledges in Cuyahoga Valley National Park worth it? The Ledges Trail is great for hikers of all ages and families looking for a fun adventure. The trail isn't rigid. You are welcome to explore next to, inside, and through the ledges. These features allow kids and adults the ability to choose their own path, creating a unique experience for everyone. Photographers will find many views worth saving. You'll find great shots of vast landscapes through the forest, views of towering ledges, but the close-up photos of the rock details and vegetation are just as powerful. The varied terrain will keep you focused with no time for boredom, but trail conditions are affected by the weather. Dry, sunny days are preferred and will provide for the best recreation. Rainy days will cause a more technical hike. Beware of snow and ice, as the rocks can be dangerous during below freezing temperatures. Did you know the Cuyahoga River was so polluted that it caught fire and was the catalyst for the creation of the United States Environmental Protection Agency? Come journey with us on some of Cuyahoga Valley National Park's best trails as we discuss this and 9 more facts you need to know about Ohio's national park. Let's get started by answering a few questions while riding the Towpath Trail. When asking why an area is a national park, many people ask, what historical significance does Cuyahoga Valley National Park protect? The Ohio and Erie Canal flowing south to north next to the Towpath Trail and through the heart of Cuyahoga Valley National Park played a pivotal role in the 19th century development of the region. Constructed between 1825 and 1832, the canal connected Lake Erie to the Ohio River, greatly enhancing transportation and commerce. This waterway facilitated the movement of goods and people, contributing to the economic growth of Ohio and the Midwest. Maybe more importantly, the canal provided an easier route for goods and information to be transported from Middle Ohio back east. The canal's remnants, including locks and the towpath, are preserved within the park, offering visitors a glimpse into the past and the region's industrial heritage. We'll talk more about the history of Cuyahoga Valley later, but the other reason national parks are created is to protect the environment. So, what types of biodiversity can visitors expect to find in the park? Cuyahoga Valley National Park is a haven for biodiversity, boasting a wide variety of plant and animal species. Visitors can encounter over 250 bird species, 70 fish species, and numerous mammals, reptiles, and amphibians. The park's diverse habitats include forests, wetlands, and grasslands, support a vibrant array of wildlife. Seasonal changes bring different flora and fauna to the forefront, making each visit a unique experience for nature enthusiasts. But the park is also protecting endangered species, including the Indiana bat, spotted turtle, and freshwater mussels. One special place in Cuyahoga is here at the Beaver Marsh. The marsh used to be a junkyard, but today is a refuge for migrating birds moving in the spring and fall. In the marsh, you will find frogs, turtles, and maybe mammals like beaver enjoying the water. There are over 1,500 wetlands in the park, and the Beaver Marsh is 70 acres of the complex ecosystem, supporting life for many. If you are watching this video outside of Ohio, you may be asking, where is Cuyahoga Valley National Park located? Cuyahoga Valley National Park is located in northeastern Ohio, nestled between the cities of Cleveland and Akron. Its central location makes it easily accessible for visitors from the surrounding urban areas, providing a natural escape amid a densely populated region. The Towpath Trail that we are riding today actually travels through the park and connects Akron to Cleveland. So the trail is a great way for people spending time in either city to hop on their bikes and escape the city and autos on this recreational trail. At its northernmost point, the park is only 10 miles south of Lake Erie, and the broader Great Lakes waterways and shipping channels, which is vital to one of the most important movements in American history coming up later. What occurred in Cuyahoga Valley during Prohibition? The park's remote areas were once used for illegal activities in the 1920s during Prohibition, including moonshining. The rugged terrain provided hiding spots for distilleries away from the city but close enough for buyers and sellers to get together in speakeasies. These were legitimate businesses selling alcohol on the side or hidden places where people offered booze for sale. As we hike the Ledges Trail, you can probably see where some of these could have been hidden away from law enforcement and snitches. Maybe the ice cave, located next to the trail, housed a still. Some have asked, is there a city inside Cuyahoga Valley National Park? The park contains a few locations that were small villages before the area was preserved. The most popular example back on the Towpath Trail is Boston Mill. Here you can find Cuyahoga Valley National Park's Visitors Center, housed in the 1836 Boston Company store. Boston Mill included a boatyard warehouse, water-powered mill, and a hotel. Just south of Boston, you'll discover Peninsula. Here you will find businesses still in existence, but you will also be able to see Lock 29, which is a well-preserved lock you can walk into and discover how the boats were raised and lowered along the canal. The parking lot offers great views of the river and access to the Towpath Trail. The demise of the canal system was in part determined by the railroad. Through both of these locations, you can hop a ride on the Cuyahoga Scenic Railroad and tour the park in comfort. More about the river fire is next, but every good national park video needs a dad joke. While hiking in Cuyahoga, my son suddenly laughed. I asked him what was so funny, and he said he couldn't tell me because it was an inside joke. What is the significance of the Cuyahoga River Fire of 1969 in environmental history? The infamous 1969 fire on the Cuyahoga River, the route of the Ohio and Erie Canal, is a landmark event in environmental history. The river, heavily polluted by industrial waste, was a symbol of pride and economic activity. But it caught fire, many times in the 1900s, drawing national attention to the issue of water pollution in the late 1960s. This event, where the river surface spontaneously combusted, spurred significant environmental reforms, including the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, by President Richard Nixon and the passage of the Clean Water Act. Exploring Cuyahoga Valley today, you would never guess it happened, but the fire's legacy underscores the importance of environmental protection and the progress made in restoring the health of the Cuyahoga River and other water bodies. Coming up next, we'll discuss the significance of the region before the Civil War. But while enjoying Brandywine Falls, it's good to know, how was the park established? In the year 2000, President Bill Clinton signed legislation by Congress for Cuyahoga Valley to be designated as a national park. But the process started almost a century earlier. In the 1920s, various local organizations started to understand the significance of the Cuyahoga River and the valley it helped create. One example is the Stanford family's decision to donate the Virginia Kendall unit, which includes the Ledges Trail we are hiking on right now, in the 1930s. Other donations and purchases occurred where in 1974 the land was designated the Cuyahoga Valley National Recreation Area, formally transferring control from the state and local governments to the care and protection of the United States. 26 years later, after much lobbying and advocacy, the recreation area became the 56th National Park. Why was Cuyahoga Valley important to the Underground Railroad? The park area played a significant role in the Underground Railroad. Cuyahoga Valley's proximity to Lake Erie and its position along the Ohio and Erie Canal made it a crucial corridor for freedom seekers traveling northward. The dense forests, secluded valleys, and sympathetic communities provided cover and support for escaping slaves. But many homes, families, and farms in Cuyahoga Valley served as safe houses, providing shelter, food, and assistance to freedom seekers on their journey. The trails and waterways made it an accommodating passage to Lake Erie, where larger networks helped transport to other states and even Canada. Today, several historic sites in Cuyahoga Valley preserve the memory of the Underground Railroad, including the John Brown House and Peninsula, which was owned by the abolitionist John Brown's family. Considering the routes that were taken leads us to this question we'll answer as we head back to the Ledges. How big is Cuyahoga Valley National Park? The city of Cleveland, Ohio covers an area of approximately 82.5 square miles. This includes both land and water areas within the city's boundaries. For a further perspective, Cuyahoga Valley National Park's 33,000 acres, or about 51.6 square miles, makes it roughly two-thirds the size of Cleveland in terms of land area. But it is long and narrow, being about 17 miles from north to south, and about 7 miles at its widest point east and west. But in at least one location along Alexander Road, the park is less than a mile wide. If you are planning your first trip, you may want to know what recreational activities are available for visitors in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. The park offers an extensive range of recreational activities to cater to all interests. Visitors can hike over 125 miles of trails, including the popular Towpath Trail, which follows the historic route of the Ohio and Erie Canal. Cycling, birdwatching, fishing, horseback riding, and kayaking are also popular activities. The park's diverse terrain and well-maintained trails provide opportunities for both leisurely walks and challenging hikes, ensuring an enjoyable experience for all levels of outdoor enthusiasts. Come walk with us if you're looking for a great place to stay while exploring Cuyahoga Valley National Park in the greater Cleveland area. We'll first share all the activities for kids at this campground, and later we'll talk about what you can find at your campsite. Watch the whole video as we share all the details about Streetsboro KOA and some things you may not know about the surrounding area. You'll also get a taste of Cuyahoga National Park and a waterfall view you don't want to miss. Let's get started. Your brood will enjoy all the activities that are set up especially for them. There are 2 play areas on the property. The back playground area has swings, a climbing tower, and tetherball. We noticed this area was quieter, and many campers may never know these swings are back here. Up by the ponds is a bigger playground. Here you will find basketball, a huge climbing fortress with multiple slides, sandbox, swings, and everything a playground should have. But there's more. This KOA has horseshoe pits, a big outdoor chessboard, gem mining, and an indoor arcade. The arcade includes video games, pinball, ping pong, pool, and air hockey. The swimming pool is located in a nice sunny spot across from the campground store and near the upper playground. The pool area has a large concrete patio with comfortable chairs and umbrellas for swimmers and sun worshipers. There are 3 ponds. 2 are designated for fishing and are large enough to have bass. The water really adds to the atmosphere of the park and is great for walks and enjoying the property. Throughout the season, this KOA will have events that adds to your stay, including holidays and Halloween weekends in the fall. Now that we know what the little ones will enjoy, let's talk through the amenities you can expect at the Streetsboro Cleveland KOA. Later, we will discuss what the campsites have to offer. At the Streetsboro Cleveland KOA, you will find all you need to get stuff done. On site, you will find propane, firewood, and ice available for sale. The campground store is supplied with the normal fare of camping supplies, drinks, snacks, gifts, and toiletries. They even sell homemade fudge. We were really surprised to see full private bathrooms on site, with separate rooms including a toilet, sink, and shower. We don't see this very often, but It may be an Ohio thing because we did see this at Campbell Cove Campground in Hocking Hills. If you are thinking about Hocking Hills, we'll put a link in the video description with videos about Hocking Hills State Park. The bathrooms are clean and well maintained. You will also find a coin laundry with good appliances at the campground store. Wi-Fi internet is also available throughout the park. Let's touch on location real quick and price, and later we'll discuss what the Streetsboro KOA has for dogs. At less than 10 miles from Cuyahoga Valley National Park and about 30 miles from downtown Cleveland, this KOA is in a great location for big city fun and some of the best hiking and biking in the Great Lakes region. But it's also easy to get to the campground off the Ohio Turnpike because it is only 3 miles from exit 187. This is a KOA holiday, and the pricing is what you would expect. We found RV sites generally run between $60 to $90 per night. Tent sites run about $50 per night. We did notice a separate area for tents. Cottages are also available in the $100 to $200 range. Check their site for all the different options they have available. We'll put the website in the video description. The campground has a lot of diversity. The front of the park is well landscaped with white fencing bordering the main driveway. In the middle of the park are the fishing ponds, store, pool, playground, and picnic shelter pavilions. Towards the back of the property, you will find wetlands full of birds and just a beautiful habitat. Off the main campground road, you can head up to the tent sites or head back into the woods to more remote sites and cabins that are placed around another wetland area that holds enough water sometimes to be a retaining pond. The sites are a little close together, but the campground has a lot going for it, and the different sections of the park add to its overall value as a campground and place for rest, relaxation, and fun activities. Every campground video needs a dad joke. Since we're at Cuyahoga Valley, we'll throw in a biking reference. Why didn't the bike want to go camping? It was too tired. Alright, back to the KOA. So what can you find at your campsite? Most of the RV sites are full hookup with water, sewer, and electric with 20 amp, 30 amp, and 50 amp outlets. The sites are generally stone pads with grass. Picnic tables and fire pits are located at each site as well. There are a few sites in the back that are water and electric only, but check the campground map on their website to learn more. We also found that the campsites are generally level, and there are many large trees to provide great shade and shelter from the wind. Let's pause on the campground and share what is close to the Streetsboro Cleveland KOA, and later we'll get into what there is for dogs. One question that usually comes up is, can you stay overnight in Cuyahoga Valley National Park? The answer is no, you can't. There's no camping available or allowed in Cuyahoga Valley, so Streetsboro Cleveland KOA is your best choice for camping while visiting the national park. Cuyahoga Valley is a great experience. We enjoyed biking the Canal Trail and hiking the ledges area of Cuyahoga Valley. There are not many national parks that have such great biking. The Towpath Trail and other biking integrated inside and outside the park make this a cyclist destination. Hikers will enjoy all there is to offer too. We enjoyed hiking the Brandywine Gorge Loop Trail that takes about 1 to 2 hours. The Ledges is also a popular hiking spot with many rock formations to explore. You should plan about 1 to 2 hours to hike this area too. What are you looking forward to while in the Cuyahoga, Cleveland area? Let us know in the comments. We'll come back to other nearby amenities of the area, but did you know the Streetsboro KOA has 2 camp canines on site? One dog park is located by the pool and the other is by the back playground. Both areas provide off-leash fun for you and your pets. Dog bags are also available in a few other places around the park. Walks are enjoyable around the campground. We've found walking through the campground with dogs like we are in this video provides a lot of scenery for you and your pet to enjoy, but you can get away from the campsites by walking around the ponds and going to the park entrance. Have you checked out what is in nearby Hudson and Streetsboro yet? Streetsboro Cleveland KOA is conveniently between these two towns. Here you will find all the major retailers including Walmart, Target, Harbor Freight, Lowe's, and Home Depot. All these stores are convenient when you need something while traveling. Throughout the area, you'll find boutique shops and a number of restaurants with both national brands and local fare. We found a great traditional Italian restaurant named Angelo's for our son's birthday just north in Twinsburg, Ohio. But Cleveland has more to discover. Less than 30 miles away, there are many top attractions. Most would say the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is at the top of tourists' lists. But you can also visit the Museum of Art, Cleveland Zoo, USS Cod Submarine Memorial, and West Side Market. But for people that are into Christmas movies, you can also see the house from A Christmas Story and the accompanying official museum for the movie. Come on a bike ride with us as we show you the Bedford Reservation adjacent to Cuyahoga Valley National Park near Cleveland, Ohio. The park is a hidden gem for those that don't live in the area, but it's not for everyone. As you tour with us, you'll learn whether you should visit the Bedford Reservation as part of your adventure to Cuyahoga Valley National Park. Let's get started. Most people, when they hear about the park, ask, why is the Bedford Reservation so special? Bedford Reservation, part of the Cleveland Metroparks Emerald Necklace, is a great local park used for recreation and relaxation by the many people who live nearby, but also used as a habitat for birds, mammals, reptiles, and amphibians. The protected space provides a landscape for the habitat of trees, plants, and waterways to thrive. But the area is highlighted by its diverse topography with deep valleys, forested hills, and open meadows. The reservation is traversed by Tinkers Creek, the largest tributary of the Cuyahoga River. Tinkers Creek Gorge, designated a National Natural Landmark in 1967, features dramatic cliffs and waterfalls, further increasing its value to the community. How do you like the bike ride so far? We started our ride at the Bedford Reservation Olander Lot off Denham Road just north of Alexander Road. As we tour, we'll visit the Bedford Reservation Overlook and Bridalveil Falls. The elevation change is 128 feet of incline and 135 feet of decline based on Google Maps. The round trip is about a 6-mile ride and took longer than expected. Plan 2 to 3 hours for this ride and to see the sights. You can continue biking further to Great Falls, which is another 3 miles with similar hills and elevation changes. Later, we'll talk about whether pets are allowed in the park, but let's get back to the frequently asked questions you should consider by asking, is there a fee to get into the Bedford Reservation? The Bedford Reservation is free for all to enjoy. In fact, all of the Cleveland Metroparks except the zoo are free for residents and visitors to the Cleveland area. There are 18 parks around Cleveland that the community calls the Emerald Necklace and was the dream of land surveyor Wilbert Albert Stincolm in the early 1900s. The name Emerald Necklace is patterned after Boston's Emerald Necklace of parks designed by architect Frederick Law Olmsted. The emerald is related to the color of the forests and grasslands that make up the park habitat to provide a greenway around the city of Cleveland for all to enjoy. Let's now get back to the recreation of the park and answer, what can you do in the Bedford Reservation? The Bedford Reservation is an outdoor sports enthusiast happy place. Here you can find trails for every adventure. The reservation offers several miles of trails for hiking and 13 miles of mountain biking, catering to various skill levels. Almost 10 miles of the Buckeye Trail, a long-distance hiking trail around Ohio, passes through the area. The trail we are biking today is an all-purpose trail over 7.5 miles long, but there are also trails for horseback riding. With 14 miles of bridle trails available for horseback riding, the Bedford Reservation is a versatile destination for equestrian enthusiasts looking for a day ride. Equine lovers can bring their own horses and enjoy a day in the saddle. Later, we'll discuss what you can see on these trails, but if you would rather take a slower pace or need a break from the activities, numerous picnic areas are scattered throughout the reservation. Equipped with tables, grills, and shelters, these locations are great for watching the day pass, reading a book, frisbee, and spending time talking with friends. But there is another way you can spend time talking with friends in the park. Shawnee Hills Golf Course, located within the reservation, provides a challenging course set against the backdrop of the area's natural beauty for your favorite foursome. The property includes an 18-hole course for serious golfers and a par 3 course to enjoy a short round or for more casual golfers. Practice options are available with a driving range, putting greens, and lessons available for a fee. The Double Bogey Grill offers burgers, wraps, and other casual food for those that need a drink or bite to eat and is open to the general public. Let's transition to another FAQ, but first, every good park video needs a dad joke. What is the hardest thing about learning to ride a bike? The pavement. Okay, back to the questions, because with all there is to do, you may be asking, how big is the Bedford Reservation? The Bedford Reservation near Cuyahoga is over 2,200 acres or about 3.4 square miles, which is bigger than some rural cities I know. The landscape has enough room for a golf course, athletic fields, picnic areas, and miles of trails through forests along Tinkers Creek for hiking, biking, horseback riding, jogging, and walking. But the park isn't just for humans. Are dogs allowed in Cleveland Metroparks? Cats and dogs are allowed in Bedford Reservation and other Cleveland Metroparks. Cats and dogs are the only pets allowed in the parks, and they must be on a leash 8 foot or less in length. As in most parks, you must pick up after your pets. Pet waste, garbage, and other items left in the park can carry diseases that could kill puppies, kittens, fox, coyotes, birds, and other wildlife that call the park home. If you haven't looked yet, you may be wondering, Where is the Bedford Reservation located? Next to Cuyahoga Valley National Park, the Bedford Reservation is in a great location just 20 miles from downtown Cleveland, using I-77 to Interstate 480. On the map, you will find it adjacent to Cuyahoga Valley National Park on the east side, close to the northern boundary. This is a great location for the over 1 million people who visit each year. Do you like learning about parks in this point of view format? We share all of our adventures in the national parks in this way to give you the best views. Subscribe today so that when you search your next adventure, we show up at the top of your search results. Okay, back to the park, and what is there to see in the Bedford Reservation? Bedford Reservation is home to a variety of plant and animal species benefiting from the conservation efforts of the Cleveland Metroparks. The rich habitats along Tinkers Creek and within the forest attract many bird species, making it a great spot for bird watchers. People have recorded heron, osprey, warblers, bald eagle, orioles, and more. From the overlook, you can see across the park above the forest. The view of the gorge from above includes an elevation change of more than 200 feet down to Tinkers Creek, and you can see across the park about 1 mile before the city returns from behind the trees on the other side. But if you explore further, you could see some of the historical remnants still visible today. You could see old mill sites and bridges which tell the story of the area's development. By the mid-19th century, Tinkers Creek was a hub of industrial activity. Water-powered mills produced flour, lumber, and other goods. Coming up later, we'll give you our view of why you will want to visit the Bedford Reservation, but when planning your trip, don't forget to ask, what gear should I take to enjoy Bedford Reservation? Due to the size of the reservation and all there is to do, you might choose to just drive through the park and take in the main points of interest. But if you plan to do any biking or hiking, you will need to plan ahead. We exchange the day packs we usually carry with us for saddlebags, but you will want to make sure to carry plenty of water. If you are biking, carry extra tubes, a bike multi-tool, tire levers, and a bike pump. Bike helmets are essential for any ride, but bumps on the trail and vehicle traffic could cause more serious accidents. Also, while adventuring, make sure you have a first aid kit. Even the smallest hike can have a slip or trip that needs a band-aid. But don't forget to take snacks, a picnic lunch, and maybe some sweet treats to motivate your brood. Read the video description while you watch for examples of what we took on this bike ride and while hiking in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. But should you visit the Bedford Reservation while at Cuyahoga Valley National Park? There are a few reasons why you would want to leave Cuyahoga Valley National Park for some time in the adjacent Bedford Reservation. We decided to enjoy Bedford Reservation for biking. The trails here are paved, well-marked, and fun. The Towpath Trail can get boring, and this ride adds to any biking adventure. We enjoyed the hills and difficulty, but we can also see people coming here for the mountain biking trails. We would also recommend coming here to see the waterfalls of Tinkers Creek. With few waterfalls in Cuyahoga, Bridalveil Falls and Great Falls make your trip to the region a waterfall tour. Other reasons to visit Bedford Reservation is if you enjoy golf and want to add another course to your experience, or if you're riding horses and need more trails to conquer. Watch this video next.